and welcome to episode 200
Yay!
of Watch and Complain. Today we're going to talk about Fast X.
It's funny, I was thinking about, like, what should I like, take out a Lego set and, like, just, like, I'm not going to talk about this movie and, like, build the Lego set? Or just basically
It almost came to that.
sit down and just, like, I'm not talking about this. But I've decided I'll talk about the film.
Because when I was like, okay, I'm going to Fast X this week, we're going to review it. And
When are
it's
you
like,
going to go see it? I'm not paying to see this.
And I'm like, when has this been news to you? I've been bringing it up over and over again.
Yeah, but I'm not paying to see it.
To annoy the crap out of you.
I was never planning on paying to see it. But
you did.
do you want to hear something? Yeah, I sure did. Do you want to hear something surprising? I love this movie. I wanted you to say, really?
No, I don't believe you. And
I was going to say, because then I would go, no.
First and foremost, you've already told me.
That's not true.
Over and over.
I didn't tell you whether I hated it.
Before you watched it.
I told you that it's
during,
very poor.
After.
Hey, I will say, all right, in all seriousness, this is the first one out of all of these fucking Fast and Furiously Fast movies. This is the first one where whenever one character was on the screen, I was like, oh, good, this character's back. The only time
Really?
it's ever... Yep, absolutely true.
Okay, first and foremost...
You were naked
and you
got arrested while watching it.
Yes, but we are going to spoil the hell out of this, as we always do.
How can you spoil this movie? You go into it knowing that Dom Tortellini has a family and something happens to the family, and by the end of it, Tortellini's figured everything out.
And then...
Something happens. Oh, my goodness.
Somebody
Stay
comes
tuned for the next one.
back and you're...
You need to go back through all of our previous episodes where we've talked about this, and you'll realize I was right.
No, I was right.
Arguably, we were both right, so we're going to have to call it a draw, but I was more right than you were.
The funny thing is, both of us are too lazy to go do it.
I don't know where that
That's
was.
why we're not really arguing that much.
Also, I am ill. Not as ill as I was before, but that's why I'm drinking mother's milk.
He just still looks...
You know what? That sucks. I can't say that without it sounding kind of creepy.
Yeah, because it sounds like...
I'm
breast
sucking off
milk.
the black dude from the boys.
Oh, I was going to say breast milk, just in general.
I'd be fine with drinking breast milk, but when I say I'm drinking mother's milk, I feel like I'm drinking the semen of the black dude from the boys.
And would you really complain?
It would be, what would I rather suck on? His massive black penis or breast milk?
From a massive boob.
But a male boob or a girl boob?
Well, that I don't judge.
It's true. Also, I have a feeling that breast milk would come forth easier than mother's milk.
I think it depends on the dude. So, we watched this movie.
Now, you wonder why I interrupt so often.
Yeah. I came into this movie expecting a fun movie with problems, obviously, because...
But did you expect problems or just like... So, I've tried with the previous movies to turn my brain off. I can't do it. And then the last movie, I was like, okay, turn your brain off.
And enjoy it, you mean?
And enjoy it, but also don't think about how any of the logic or physics, don't think about any of that, because as soon as you start thinking about the reality of physics and logic, you're gonna have a bad time. So with this one, I did the same thing. Turn your brain off. Think, like, forget about logic. Don't even let it creep in. Don't even let for a second let it creep into your brain. And there were a couple times I did, like, well, that just stop, because you have to.
Who do you think originally comes up with the ideas for the stunts or the action scenes?
I think there's a writer that writes it, and then Vin Diesel,
The director
Carpathian.
and Vin, yeah.
Vim decides, no, because
I don't want him to do
Vim
that.
knows that this is the only thing he's ever going to do, right? So he's like, we have to push it. I think he wants to push it, and I have a...
For his character.
Yeah, and this is something I want to discuss as to why the only other actor in this movie knew what movie he was in. And I have that in my notes constantly with the actual lines he said, because I genuinely chuckled when he would say his lines. And I knew that the reason... I won't spell now. I'll get into it later. But I think it goes to... It's written, and then it goes to Vim Fuego, and then Vim Fuego is like... no, you turn it up, ratchet it up a notch. Even though it makes no sense, and a character of his age and physical prowess
Beauty.
would not be doing any of the things that his character's doing. I think it's him that turns it up a notch, and nobody else cares, because I think everyone else who stars in this movie comes to it all from different angles, or I should say similar angles. I think some of the, I don't want to call them lesser cast members, because they're not lesser cast,
They
maybe
are
lesser known cast members come to this movie to star in it for, and I don't know what the term would be, so they can sell their beer, sell their vodka, sell their jewelry, sell their clothes, which, hey, dude, this is going to get in front of a massive audience, so kudos to them. That makes perfect sense. And then there are other actors, the Jason Stathams,
Just come and be in this
Jason
for
Statham's kind
5
of like,
minutes.
yeah, come be here for 2 minutes. We're gonna be in Rome. We're gonna be in Portugal. Why don't you come have a great 2 weeks on us? We'll pay for everything. By the way, you need a new house. Your paycheck will pay for that, and then come enjoy yourself. Like the way that pig Adam Sandler brings all of his friends to come and have a vacation.
Yeah.
That's what Jason Statham.
Maybe you'll get another movie out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron are such good actors that I think they just do it where they're like, like you look at her in something like Monster. And you look at Helen Mirren in any of the myriad of movies that she's been in, because she's a wonderful, amazing actress, and so is Charlize Theron, wonderful, amazing actress. And they're like, I kind of want to slum it for a little bit.
Well, Helen Mirren keeps sounding like she absolutely loves Vin Diesel and like their actual family. Like there's so much respect there. And I just want to do this because I love this guy.
Yeah. I think
maybe they both get high together.
You know what it is? I think I call him Vim Fuego because I don't want to call him Vin Diesel because that's a fake name. So I'll call him Vim Fuego, which is a worse fake name. I like Vim Fuego. Vim Fuego is a Vim that I like. And for anybody that gets that reference, you're probably not watching this. But I think he's a very lovable dummy. He strikes me as a dummy that people are just like, oh, that's old stupid Vim.
He's Groot.
Yeah, he's just a big dummy. And great. Hey, you know what? If that's what's getting these movies made, great. So good for Vim.
In 2021, Dominic Toretto and his team are requested by the agency to steal a computer chip during its transit in Rome.
I'm going to bring up my notes because I have notes.
Dom and his wife, Letty Ortiz, stay behind with his son, Brian Little B. Marcos.
I like how the movie starts with him and Little B destroying their car's tires by doing a bunch of drifting. And you're like, wow.
Perfect drifting.
But what's also funny is like, so imagine the poor city worker that needs to go clean up all those tire tracks afterwards by repaving or repainting the entire area. Who cares?
They don't care.
Yeah, that's the matter. And that comes to be, I used to hate it, but now, again, no one exists in the world except these characters in these movies.
Can you make some sense of something my wife brought up?
I'll try.
Okay, and we're going to get into this again. It's a race issue, probably race wars, right? How is it a black son?
Oh, a little B?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's black. I think he's like Portuguese, Puerto Rican. Because I think Dom Tortellini is supposed to be Puerto Rican or Italian or something.
Yeah.
Because Rita Moreno is, I believe Rita Moreno is Portuguese, but I think she's supposed to be an Italian in this movie. Rita Moreno is Dom's mom, right?
Okay.
Who is, again, debasing herself in this movie because she's such a fucking good actress. But I'm like, hey, everybody needs a paycheck.
Like, I don't care what race he is, but like it just at the end of the day, if it doesn't really matter.
I think
if it's two white parents and they have a black kid, maybe they had some black in the family before. That's possible. I get you.
I think
I'm just curious.
You are letting logic come into the movie. You know why
That's
Little
me
B?
every step of this movie.
You know why Little B appears kind of half. I got he's very light skinned black because a lot of light skinned black young men will come to this movie. Look, there's me on screen.
I think the real father is Rome.
It's all dollars
Rome
and cents.
is the real father.
Dollars and cents. Rome. Which one's that? I don't know what anybody's
Roman
name is.
Or like the black dude.
There's two
There's
black
two
dudes.
of them. Not Ludacris.
Okay, not Ludacris.
Seal.
Okay.
I don't know.
Tyrese.
Tyrese.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know what any of their names are. I know there's Dominic
people?
Tortellini. I'm not going out. That's your cross to bear. I know Dominic Tortellini,
I hate you.
Letty, and Hans,
Zimmer. Yeah.
and oh fuck, there was a Hobbs and a Shaw, and I don't know which one is which. And there was Mr. Nobody, replaced by his Aryan Nation daughter in this movie, which I'll talk about. The Girl of 1,000 Stairs. But all right, let's get it. Because the plot of this movie, I was looking forward to you describing the plot because there were so many times in this movie where I was like, I have no idea what is happening. And I've been watching it. I've been fucking paying attention. I didn't drift.
We kind of spoiled each other's views on this a little bit because Rob can't shut the fuck up.
I can.
I should just put you on mute.
Not to. That's what we should do. Whenever we've got a movie coming up, just fucking mute all of my messages.
But it's one of those movies where it's like, I know, right? I know, right? I know, right? It's just like, okay. However, a wounded Cypher arrives at Dom's house and informs him that Dante Reyes, the son.
Oh wait, no, that's way after. So I wanted to bring up one thing first. These movies are all about family, and it's about family. And so Rita Moreno shows up, and it's about family. Now,
this guy likes to skip the unimportant parts, which is going to be a lot.
But it's all about family, but half the family isn't there. I was like, again, don't logic, turn it off. But you have to be thinking, like, doesn't anyone notice that, A, half the chairs are empty, and B, a person that's married to the family, you know what I mean, married into the family, and his child is not there.
This movie seemed like it was plagued with two issues. Reshoots galore, and the fact that they put in blank areas for people that they thought they could CG in to scenes and did CG into scenes a lot in this movie.
Oh yeah.
If people think that those actors were on the same set together constantly, no.
Yeah, there was a lot of green screening.
You could tell this. You could tell this in a lot of movies lately by the haze.
Yep.
There's so much haze on the screen,
and
people don't notice it.
I think the worst offender was Ant-Man, and the way that you notice it is when you've got two actors side by side. Now, if I'm standing beside you, and we're in the quantum zone, we're going to be like, holy shit, blah, blah, and I'm going to be able to know where your eye line is. And I'm going to be able to talk to you and react
subtle things, yeah.
The
shadows.
You could tell they're just acting to a green screen because there's so much volume, there's so much chaos going on around them. And there's a person right beside them that when they look over, they're like, Phil, are you sure that you're going to be able to get the thing? Like you can tell they're looking at nothing.
Yeah.
And it's It's fine when it's no, it's fine, but it was.
There's also a chemistry to it.
Yeah.
When you're talking to someone, you got chemistry. If I had to like phone in the line, like I'm working on a video
in this
game.
movie, whenever the B team was always together, and whenever the B team, they have zero chemistry. But whenever the B team is, sorry, that's not true. They they have wonderful chemistry. They're just none of them are funny. And whenever the B team is together, you can see them riffing off each other.
Yeah.
Where the director just
horribly.
said, yeah, just go, no script, just improv. And it's awful, but at least they're all in the same room together. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Like 3 of them, maybe 4.
4.
It just,
I felt so sorry for. I kept on calling her Domino because I don't.
Do you notice that not Rome, but the other? Okay, let's say
Ludacris.
Ludacris.
I'm just gonna call him Ludacris and Roman.
In that scene that you're talking about, where they're all at the barbecue or whatever, he moves over. He's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna sit next to Rome."
Yeah, what was the point of that?
And then, exactly the next moment, he's back there.
But what was the point? See, there were so many jokes.
I think it was just a joke of like, I don't want to sit next to him because he's pissing me off type thing.
Okay, because there were so many jokes by those guys that I guess I'm just not cool enough. I just didn't get it.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't
you're
get
right.
What the joke was.
They were like really bad jokes.
Yep.
And it just didn't work.
But I'm sure that, and I'm hoping that whatever beer or whatever shirt or whatever wine line they're selling,
Music.
I'm hoping it's blowing up because of this movie. Because
Other shows. And
I
movies.
wish most actors in this movie nothing but success. But yeah, so that was my first thing. I get that it's all about family, except that half the family isn't there. And I was like, why is the mom coming in from Italy or wherever she's supposed to be from, but half the family's not there?
It's like the first day of the shot of the scene of the movie, and like nobody shows up.
You know what it is? It's like, all right, everybody, let's shoot a rehearsal. There's some people that aren't here, but they'll know what to do once they get here.
Yeah, you guys can leave when you're done.
I also, and we'll get to it, but I only heard one reference to Brian. I was surprised. I thought it would be like the other ones where they're trying to pretend he's still alive.
Was the one reference the song?
No, the one reference was
Long Road.
The one reference is when Uncle Muscles shows up, which I love. That's a great nickname for John Cena. And Punky Brewster says, "Oh God, I've got to get to Brian," and you're like, "Yeah, okay, sure."
Yep. However, a wounded Cypher arrives. Whoa.
That's Charlize Theron, I guess? Cypher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arrives at Dom's house and informs him that Dante Reyes, the son of drug lord Herman Reyes, has turned her crew against her and is using them to target Dom in revenge for his father's death 10 years prior.
So
unfortunately, all the flashback scenes look like ass.
I get that Michelle Rodriguez is gay in real life. But I have seen a lot of actors, gay and straight, mostly gay, because they're and straight actors who are playing as gay.
It's in your porn history, sure.
Have wonderful chemistry with other actors. And I have something I want to discuss about this a bit later on. And we should I should shut up because I have a lot of stuff to talk about. But her and Vin Fuego, they've been married since Fast 5. When did he wear his white tank top to get married? That's Fast 5? One of them. Him and Letty got married, and I have never seen less chemistry on two actors, I think, in my life. Like, there is zero chemistry between the two of them. And they have that scene where she jumps up into his arms, and I guess there must have been a producer's note, being, Vin Fuego, who said there's got to be more
touchy
physicality between them because they come off as brother and sister. Yeah. They still come off as brother and sister in this
because they're best friends in real life.
Exactly. But there's zero chemistry. Like no sexual chemistry, no man, I love you. You know what I mean? It's just none of it's there.
And you think it's about to happen, and then it's like it just stops.
Yeah.
Like you think I thought they were gonna have like a semi sex scene.
But I think it's because these two.
I was like, oh, yeah, because my son was there.
I think it's because these two don't have any chemistry with each other. Sure, they're friends, but I don't think they have any chemistry.
Not in that way.
Yeah, not in that way at all. And I'm like, why
push that?
Why use? And also, why not just
split them up?
Split them up, or hey, they don't have that type of marriage.
They're friends.
Yeah. Why not? Why get married? Why wear your best white wife beater to a marriage? Why get married? Just have them be fucking best friends.
Push divorce, and divorce is good if it needs to happen.
I think, and that's something I'll talk about as well. I think divorce would be that people can get divorced and still be friends.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great lesson for the audience,
the generation that watches
of 5-year-olds that are watching this movie,
mentally and physically.
Correct.
Yeah. Little Nobody.
So also another thing I want to bring up when Charlize Theron shows up, or Cameron Diaz, or whoever her name is, Charlize Theron. That's right. I wanted to call her Cameron Diaz.
Very
a couple
attractive.
Times. Far more attractive than Cameron Diaz. But I'm impressed that the movie knows. The movie knows that its audience has goldfish brains. So they're like, hey, remember Cypher? Yeah, she's the last movie. Remember Herman Melville, whatever his name is? He's Jason Momoa's dad. Flashback. Constant flashbacks to remind you who these characters are, even though if you care about this movie, you should know who they are.
Half an hour flashback. We just watched the previous movie.
Yep.
That we just green screened some
It was like
parts.
watching Silent Night, Deadly Night again.
It was a nice way to do it, but could you not find a better...
Well, they had their Final Cut Pro filter. They put a little grain on it.
It was bad.
What are you talking about? It was amazing, especially when Herman Melville is talking to Jason Momoa. And that actor shows up. He's like, we're going to stop Dom Tortellini and his crew. Fuck them. We're going to kill them. And then Jason Momoa comes in, oh, where's my mark? Okay. Yes, Father, who is there? We're going to go get them. We'll kill them. And you're like, you guys are not in the same room, are you? It was funny.
Little Nobody takes Cypher into custody.
Jesus Christ. There's so much shit we're going past. I want to bring up, too.
It's a long movie.
Every line is a badass line. It's so... Like, pathetic's not the right word. And I struggled. I wanted to write it. I struggled to find the right word. Every line is them going... See, Leslie thought it was funny, too.
I thought it was funny.
Every line is them going like, yeah, you think you're as good as me? You'll never be as good as me. I already predicted that I'd never be as good as you, and then I knew that I could run this program and be as good. Yeah, well, you think you've double-crossed me? You'll never double-cross me, because I'm the best. So you were the best. You're like, dude, shut the living fuck up and hurry up with this movie.
So every line was a closing line from CSI Miami.
Yeah, right? Being said by, what was his name? Horatio Caine. Horatio Caine. It looks like this is a job for Fast and Furious. You know, I've never watched CSI. Karen did, but I don't think she ever watched the CSI with Horatio Caine. She watched the CSI Las Vegas with Gil Grissom. But yeah, not exciting.
Is there more? Can I move on? Little Nobody.
Let me check my notes. Yes.
Little Nobody takes Cypher into custody, but reveals to Dom and Letty that there is no agency mission in Rome.
Holy fuck. We skipped one of the best parts of the movie. It skipped it already. So, one, you can tell that Kurt Russell must have had like some gambling debts or had a house that he needed to finish, because he was like, okay, those debts are paid off or that house is done. I'm not appearing in this again. Bye. You know, not weird. A chance.
You would think he would, though.
No. I think
he wants to be more serious.
Yeah. I think Kurt Russell has some self-respect, and he's like, I'm done. Even as a joke, no, I don't want to be in this. These are really, really stupid. And I think he wants to be in something a bit better. Even though not all those movies are fantastic. I think maybe earlier in his career, he probably would have been in shit like this all the time. But now when he's doing stuff like Bone Tomahawk and Hateful Eight and a lot of these movies where he's an older, gruffer, angry guy, I don't think he wants to be this guy anymore. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, When did Kurt Russell decide even this was too pathetic for him? Thankfully, One Note Wonder Aryan Nation pretty girl Cheese Larson was available. This actress is terrible. I am astounded that this girl gets work.
I was waiting for it because once I saw her show up, because I didn't know ahead of time. Once I saw her show up, I was like, "Oh, Rob's gonna love this."
What amazes me about her is she's not a bad actress, but she's a bad person, and that comes across in her acting. And you can tell that she is one of those people that's always gotten everything she's wanted. You could just tell by the way she stares at people, because her eyes, I feel like her eyes could fucking melt steel. She stares at people. Every time she stares, I'm like, I guarantee that's why she got the job. Because she was in, the producer's room, and, Vim Fuego was there, and she was like trying to fucking figure out what he said because he's half Jabba the Hutt, half Grimace. And so she had her script, and she was like, I am Mrs. Nobody. My dad was Mr. Nobody. Do you guys know I was in that movie Room? Yeah, won an Oscar for it. Good, great. Also, I'm in those Marvels, so a lot of money coming in from those stooges that still go to those.
That's why she's in this movie.
But then she goes, Vim Fuego, did I get the role? Vim, did I get it? And those eyes stare at you. I would hand over my fucking firstborn son to her. Just stop staring at me. You are a terrifying woman. You are an ice princess. I can tell you are one of the meanest people to ever exist.
You are obsessed with people you don't like.
Yeah, I hate her. And I hate her, but not because she's a bad actress. She's not a good actress, but she's not a terrible actress, but she's a horrible person. That's why I don't like her. She's a horrible person. I don't like people who are horrible people.
Yeah, but at some point you need to move past it.
You're telling me to fucking move past stuff, and you're forcing me to watch Fast 10? Why don't you Fast 10 your expectations?
I did. We set up this whole Fast and Furious marathon so that we could keep going through it to drive you crazy.
Was Brie Larson in any of the other movies?
No.
No way. All right, we skipped over one of the best parts of it.
I'm sure it comes back to it.
There's no way, because
remember, previous plots that we've done, it goes.
If it doesn't come back,
certain parts and then comes back.
I'm going to hold you responsible, and I'm going to describe what happens.
All right. Okay. Realizing that Dante set them up.
Who's Dante? Oh, Jason Momoa, right? I kept on calling him just Jason Momoa.
Dom and Letty go to rescue the team. In Rome, Dante locks the team in a truck containing a bomb while Dom and Letty pursue them. The bomb is released through the streets, so Dom pushes it into the Tiber River.
Yep, sure. So
to minimize
the bomb.
The damage.
It shrinks.
Yeah.
Through the God's eye. God's eye
well,
fucking
they got
centers right down on
Aquaman.
it and minimalizes it. And then Aquaman jumps in. But so I was like,
they needed the cube times 2, or not cube, the safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, this is going to be a movie. And then Jason Momoa shows up.
Mm-hmm. Not the Jason Momoa that was just introduced.
Correct.
Who was
Very
really
correct.
serious and really upset at the end of that moment.
And then when he meets Charlize Theron, he's like, oh yeah, let's troll your guy. And I'm like, whatever. This one scene, and
he started being
goofy, but that was, so there were some movies where Vim Fuego was watching the dailies, and there were some scenes where Vim Fuego was watching only the car parts, right? So he was watching the dailies, but only the car parts. This is where Jason Momoa was able to sneak in some lines. And one great line he has here, and I legitimately laughed. I wrote it down, and I'm like, I hope more of that comes back, because I had fun with that. Jason Momoa is, fucking tink on his computer, like, oh, hack. I'm going to make it explode. His exact line is, and I wrote down, Jason Momoa knows the movies he's making. He knows the movie he's making. He's treating this movie as stupid as it is. He goes, blow up the Vatican. You guys are going to hell, but okay. And he says it so fucking off the cuff. He must have great comic timing. I get the vibe. He's a good comedian, and he knew that Vim Fuego wasn't going to be watching that.
I doubt it was him. I bet it was one of the writers or something, and then they're like,
it feels so off
let's
the
break the
cuff.
fourth wall a bit.
It feels so off the cuff.
But I think Mimosa is how I say it. Mimosa, he is really good at acting. So if they say, "Oh, make it like off the cuff, like this is how your character is,"
maybe
he can outshine that.
Maybe he's out of all the male actors in the movie, Jason Statham is wonderful, but he's a one trick pony.
What do you mean? Like he was in it for like 2 minutes.
Of all the male actors in the movie, Momoa is fantastic. He was once he did that line, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I if there was more of that, which thankfully there was, I was like, okay, maybe I'll enjoy myself. Not very much, but at least I'll enjoy it whenever Jason Momoa is on screen. Also, which man in this movie would you say was the hottest of all of them? It's either, for me, it's between Jason Momoa and Mr. Wrestler. I just kept on calling him Mr. Wrestler, the guy that remember, you know who I'm talking about, because I asked you, is he a wrestler? And
I'm surprised he wasn't like a known actor.
I thought he was a wrestler.
Well, we'll get to him, I'm sure.
But I was like, God damn, Jason Momoa is good. He's a good-looking man.
It's Agent Ames, I think.
Okay, sure. But Agent Ames had the whole Jack Reacher look. Like, he had a really, really big but takes care of himself, like SWAT guy. So, dude, I think I'd have to go Agent Ames. Stop looking shit up. We're talking about Fast or Furious.
Especially when he took his shirt off.
When did he take his shirt off?
Didn't he, like, at the end, take his shirt off and go, ah!
Who?
I don't know. Maybe that's not him.
Who in the flying fuck are you looking up? You're looking up some guy that looks like Mickey Mouse as a human being.
Aldrich Rick Ames, former CIA counterintelligence officer who was convicted of espionage.
So you know what Phil says to me a lot, right?
It might be based off this guy.
Phil says to me a lot, he goes, you always take us off track and don't stay focused on the movie. Who the fuck is looking up Aldrich Ames on their goddamn computer?
We might have found who they based it. Ames is played by
Mr. Wrestler. I told you it was a wrestler.
Reyes Crime Family.
Yep. He's Ace Rames.
Why wouldn't you put it like right away? Where is it?
Because he is a wrestler and they don't want you to know that he's a wrestler. He's portrayed by
Alan Richson.
Richmond Sorgensen. Get back to flexing of the Furious.
An American actor, filmmaker, and singer.
Wow.
He will appear in the upcoming film Fast X.
He's a handsome man, but I think I'd go with him over Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's good looking, but I think I'd prefer him. I'd let him like cradle me, like pick me up. Because I'm lighter now. Remember I was texting you. I have lost weight. I thought I hadn't, but I lost a considerable amount of weight, so I'm proud of myself. I'd let him, pick me up and like I'd nuzzle into his chest and I'd feel protected and stuff.
I'm leaving. Letty is arrested, and Agent Ames, the agency's de facto leader since Mr. Nobody's disappearance, believes that Dom and his team are responsible for the bombing and begins a manhunt, attaching a multi-million
I'm not trying to talk at all.
Bounty. How many times do you interrupt me, and how many times have you interrupted me in this whole thing?
A better question
so far
is
a better question.
So now I understand. Don't think of physics because physics in this movie will make you angry. But one thing that did make me laugh is Rome is clearly like this. Yeah. So Rome starts up here, and then I think it goes. It's tilted on an angle, and then the Vatican is down at the bottom because this bomb, goes out the back of the truck, and then pinballs between other cars, and seems to gain force as it's rolling towards Dom. Somehow it also knows who Dom is, so it's like pinballing off cars.
It's going magnetic. We're going back to there.
But my question was, what is the force that's driving it? Like how is it hitting cars? But still
momentum. It's momentum and the downward that you already said there was an angle.
But that does mean that Rome's going to have to be on an angle, right?
It is though.
But it's not.
But it is. It showed in the picture.
Yeah, okay. But I was like,
in that portion of Rome, it goes downhill.
Okay, sure. But I was like, what's pushing that bomb to go on? And I was like, who cares?
Momentum and the slope of the
also
hill
probably
that they're on.
God.
And
because Vatican is the most religious place in the world. So it was probably God was like smacking
and the wires that they guided during the movie shooting.
Sure. Yeah. Wires. God wires. God's eye. Gob was watching it, and he was like, all right.
You said Gob.
Gob's eye.
In Los Angeles, an armed team...
We skipped so much shit.
I'm just reading.
The shockwave.
I didn't write it.
So Letty looks over, and a bomb explodes, and her hair goes whoosh, like that. And then it cuts to a shot of Vim Fuego getting out of his car and having his old butthole mouth. His mouth looked like a butthole a lot.
Whenever he has to try to think, that's what it looks like.
And he doesn't have any hair, so you just see like dust flying. And then it cuts to 3 cars. Like the shockwave hits them, and they are like thrown in the air like 30 feet. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did Vim Fuego just get dust with a butthole mouth? And Letty, her hair just went whew, like that. But then these other cars were like blown 25 feet in the air. I'm like,
she's right nearby.
Yeah.
And he's probably just as close.
He's probably closer. He's probably like fucking closer than the cars are.
Yeah.
And again, logic. It'll hurt your brain. Don't do it. But it was something in my brain where I was like, but that doesn't make a lot of sense.
But at least a pyroclastic cloud came after.
Pyroclastic. That's right.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yep. I'm saying, yes, it probably says it in the thing. Yeah. There was that's what they did. Remember, the bomb exploded and the volcano came up the river. Yeah. And all Dom did was he drove a Ford Fiero up into it.
But that was Fast and Furious 6.
Sure. What did they go into a volcano?
No.
Oh. So you can tell me they went into a volcano and I'd be like, wow, they did? Wonder which one that was.
May I continue?
I'm glad that this orange juice doesn't have pulp. I don't like pulp in orange juice. You have to cough like Dracula.
In Los Angeles, an armed team arrives to take Little B, who was under the...
Before that, I love that Mr. Wrestleman, the way that Mr. Wrestleman explains that he doesn't like Dom is when they're on the plane and somebody's talking to Mr. Wrestleman. Oh, maybe it's Jason Momoa talking to Mr. Wrestleman. He's like, I'm going to kill Dom. He's like, yeah, I want to take Dom down as much as you. I hate barbecues. He says the line, I hate barbecues. And I was like, fuck, this is great.
It's just another line that got squeaked in there.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You know that Vim Fuego was watching his dailies, not watching the other stuff. He's like, I can't be there for editing all of it.
Didn't he say something like, all it takes is a barbecue to change a cop over?
Something like that. But I know he said
referring to somebody, but not saying the name.
But then he goes, he clearly says, and I hate barbecues. I was like, God damn, I like this guy. See, now people
I'm just waiting.
Are going to wonder.
I'm wondering if there's another note.
I have a note that's talking about this part.
In Los Angeles, an armed team arrives.
Look at how much dead fucking space there is.
I wonder why. This is the end of the show.
We ended on 200 episodes.
Okay. Watch me hang out with Will next week.
Oh, good luck getting a fucking word in edgewise that way.
In Los Angeles, an armed team arrives to take Little B, who is under the care of Dom's sister, Maya. I
don't care.
Doesn't matter. Dom's brother, Jacob, defeats the team and takes Little B. Okay. John Cena.
Was that John Cena? I didn't even see him.
Ha ha.
I wrote that down to say it.
You know when he picks him up and puts him through the floor?
Yep.
That's his finisher move as a wrestler.
Oh, what's it called?
The
finisher?
AA, the attitude adjustment.
Also, I like how poorly built that house was because I would like to think that if I'm on the top floor and I trip and fall on the floor, I'm hoping I don't go through my floor.
But you're disregarding John Cena's power.
That's a good point.
His sheer strength.
He's not John Cena. He's Jacob Tortellini.
Same.
And then, I have here, does Brie Larson understand that she doesn't need to try to melt people by staring at them? That girl's stare is unnerving.
You've caused me to lose my place.
All these tough guy lines that mean nothing. I can't follow because I don't speak douche. And then I'll let you go until I'm at a part that I had legit no fucking idea what was going on. And I'm hoping this explains it.
Jacob defeats the team and takes Little B to a secret location in Portugal, where they will await Dom.
I guess it is Portugal.
You thought it was Portugal?
I've always heard people say Portugal because my neighbor's Portuguese. She always says Portugal, Portugal, Portugal.
Yeah.
But I guess they leave out
Portugal,
the L.
yeah.
Kind of like, when people talk about Toronto. We always just say Toronto, but we don't call it Toronto.
And then when someone's from out of town.
Toronto. And then you watch them struggle with fucking Saskatchewan and Mississauga.
It's just like when people come to Kingston and
I
they
hate
say Kingston.
having a cold.
Where we say Kingstow.
Yep. I would love to hear you use the term Kingstow in a sentence.
I'm going to start it.
What's up? What's up, wiggy whack, wiggity wiggity wax?
Welcome to Kingstow.
We're here in the pen. In Kingstow pen.
Come get your coffee weight donuts, yo. Mr. Nobody's daughter, Tess, is convinced of the team's innocence and uses God's eye to find Dom in Naples, informing him that Dante is in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
Or Rio de Janeiro.
The copy of the film that I had was, I believe, made for a Spanish-speaking audience.
You mean, you went to a
Spanish
theater?
Yeah, I went to a Spanish theater, that's right. And so whenever
in Spain.
I flew and got there in 10 minutes, just like these guys fly places and get there in 10 minutes.
And then you avoided the minesweeper.
Yep.
That bomb that was rolling down the highway.
That's in Rome.
Same. Rome, Spain. Spain, Rome.
Yep. You know what we have upstairs? We have a
map.
We have a map.
You mean
that you go look at?
You mean this isn't a map?
See the map, and you can see how close Rome and Spain are to each other.
Same place.
Yeah. So
don't get mad at me, Romans.
So yeah, the like when he would say Rio de Janeiro, I can't remember exactly what it said, but I'm like, I think that says Rio de Janeiro. The only one that made that no changes was Portugal. I'm like, I know that's Portugal.
Portugal. Sorry. Dom. Oh, I remembered someone who didn't show up in this movie.
Okay.
Who didn't want to be in the movie, I guess.
Okay.
The Mother of Dragon's henchwoman.
Who the hell is Dragon?
No, Okay, the Mother of Dragon.
No, she's the black girl.
Yeah.
She's Domino. She's of the four, the group. She's that girl.
Oh, that's right.
You fucking idiot. Were you even watching the movie?
I'm going to edit that out.
No, flip it around. Like cut it so I'm on that side, and then it looks like I'm the stupid one.
Oh.
How on earth did I recognize someone from the movie and you didn't? That's ridiculous.
You know what it was? It's just that I don't care about those scenes. Like, they didn't mean anything. Like,
my brain.
They weren't important.
I will say another thing too, and I didn't put it into my notes, but I constantly noticed it happening. Did you? And let me know if you saw the same thing. When they go to their race, which is the part that I'm very confused by, there's sexy girls and they're good looking. They have their booty shorts and they're dancing. They're all carrying, Tyrese vodka and Ludacris cigars and stuff like that. But not one character in this movie, female or male, is sexualized. None of them are looked at as buff hot dudes or sexy hot girls. None of them.
Mr. Wrestler.
Okay, but that's me being attracted to Mr. Wrestler.
But he's ginormous.
But Jason Momoa is never seen as a hot guy. Jason Statham, Vim Fuego, The Rock, none of them are seen And even more, you would think it's speaking to guys. Dude, look at how hot Michelle Rodriguez is. Look how hot Charlize Theron is.
Yeah,
look
they're
how
in
hot.
big white outfits, and
They're never in tight outfits. They're never sexualized, which is good. I'm glad they're not sexualized. But it was like, especially for the market that they're going after, that was really confusing.
Do you think they just wanted to be super careful?
No, I think it's because they know this movie needs to make money overseas, and when you start sexualizing women like that, it's not going to play well overseas.
And yet, they've always had those movies overseas.
But it made me realize, thinking back to it, when's the last time you saw any of these characters sexualized? The women especially. Ever?
Also, the woman who, for their race that happens, who drops the flag,
Yep.
is this like full-figured girl.
Again, I get stuff like that. Again, that's why Little B is a mixed race young man. That's why it's extremely every color of the rainbow in this movie, because they know they're going to be playing to all sorts of audiences. Funny how there's no trans or gay characters, because no other countries like that. Young men who are like, oh, not my America. Where's my car? Where's my car? They don't like transgender. They don't like gay people.
Russia.
So they really know who they're playing to. But yeah, but that's one thing I knew like from fucking early on. Oh, I'm not doing Dracula.
I'm getting sick, aren't I?
Dracula.
Did I say that? Dom confronts Dante.
Sure.
And agrees to a race.
Okay, hold on. Why was Dom at a race? Like,
why were they at a race
led to
together?
That? What led to that? Because I thought he's got to protect his kid, and these 4 people are lost. Tyrese and the Funky Bunch, and then I don't know where Letty is. Letty's in jail, trying to get her out. There's all this shit going on, but then Dom's at a race, and I'm like, why is this happening? Even in the narrative,
I'm trying to remember.
It just
Did he
starts.
have to get money? No.
I don't know. It just occurs.
He went there to see someone, but it wasn't to see the bad guy.
I legitimately did not know, and I was paying attention.
Was he
do
just
not know why he went
visiting
there.
the sister?
Who cares?
Where they are joined by Dom's friend Diogo.
Sure. Also, I did love in this scene, Jason Momoa is dressed like a genie. He's all purple.
Yeah.
And it's like purple baggy clothes, and he's dressed like a genie. Made me laugh.
I kind of want to hope that this is the real Mimosa, and that he dresses like this in like he dresses and acts like this
Later
all
on,
the time.
when he's talking to the dead dudes and his hair is in the little buns. Oh, I love that. That was great.
It was great. He was the shining role in this.
He was in The Shining.
Him and Brie Larson. And Isabel Neves, the sister of Little B's late mother, Alina.
I legit had no idea what was going on. That part, he goes, smile like your eyes. And I'm like,
smile like your eyes.
He says like your eyes are smiles or something. And I'm like, who is this person? I don't know what's going on.
Eyes are smiles. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. During the race, Dante tells Dom that he planted bombs in Diogo's and Isabel's cars.
Wow.
It sounds like a bad episode of Blue's Clues. Sorry. Unable to reach Diogo, Dom crashes into Isabel. God, I'm bad. To dislodge the bomb as Diogo's car explodes.
Sure. Now, this scene I wrote down, Vin Diesel's a strange-looking man. And granted, I'm no prized pig. I'm just a regular pig. But he kind of looks like he's relying on the CG of the movie to make him look hot or attractive or muscular or skinny or tall when he needs it to happen.
Yes.
Because as I'm looking at him, like I get the
we know
lifts
this
thing.
to be true.
Yeah, and especially in the end fight with Jason Momoa, the lifts are out of this world. But it was this scene especially where he's holding on to Token Girl, and then he picks her up, and he's walking with her. He's an oddly shaped man. I get that he looks like he was a bodybuilder, like, you know what I mean? And you've seen him in Pitch Black. You've seen him in some of the movies when he's a very big guy.
I feel like he doesn't want to put in the effort anymore.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm rich. I'll just make them do it for me.
And that's what. But it looks like, and there's a scene later where it is so fucking obvious that it's CG muscles. You're like, what? Mm-hmm. But when he lifts her up, he's got these bulging biceps. But then when the camera comes around, he's walking like away. They're down to like regular person arms again, and I'm like,
that's the stand-in.
But you know what? Yeah, right. But it was like they're not. He's an oddly shaped man in that he's. And what I meant by oddly shaped, and what I noticed is, like, you know, like I said, I'm an unattractive man myself, but his face looks like he's aging. And then they're using makeup and maybe the tape where they tape stuff back to get rid of wrinkles and CG Scotch to de-age him. Yeah, and they legit do that. Like you should watch behind the scenes of that Pee Wee movie that came to Netflix where Paul Rubens I think he's like in the 60s now, and their show like, yeah, dude, to keep his neck nice and tight, they're like taping his fucking neck.
That's what I got to do, huh?
And but it was this scene where I was watching. I'm like. He looks him looking uncomfortable is making me uncomfortable because he looks uncomfortable. Whatever CG they're doing, whatever makeup they're doing, looks wrong. Is the only way I can say it.
You see that puppet that they used in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah,
I think that's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
They just do that.
Just make a puppet of him. Yeah.
And then they put him on strings or something. Tess visits Letty at a CIA black site.
Who's Tess? Who Tess?
Brie Larson?
Is that Brie Larson? Okay.
Must be. Sure.
Black
site, and covertly wounds her to send her to prisons. To the prison's treatment center, where she meets Cypher.
Dude, when this scene started, I saw the two of them sitting in the same outfits in bed right beside each other. I was like, oh my fuck. And I said it out loud. Tell me there's a body swap. Tell me they swap bodies. Yes. And then when she's like...
Because the trailer made it look like that.
And I was like, oh, God, that's awesome. And then she's like, I'm venting the fucking gas. And I was like, damn it. I wanted those two to fucking swap bodies. That would have been
it's
wicked.
One of those things where it's Fast X. Like anything
there's no
can
logic.
happen.
They can do anything. They went to space in the last one.
Exactly.
I was so psyched.
I'm waiting
and
for
then it doesn't have.
I'm waiting for dinosaurs.
Oh, my fuck. Tell me they switch bodies and then, God damn it.
They discover the black site in Antarctica and...
Also, I wanted to point out, sorry, and it'll be the last time I interrupt you, the very last, never again.
Okay.
Is Tyrese and the Funky Bunch, they go to a place that Domino says, oh, I know a guy and he'll sell stuff, whatever.
I'm sure we'll get there.
And as they're talking about stuff, like, my God, they're improvising. The director is telling them to improvise. None of them are good improvisers, so none of it's funny.
And they're trying so hard to get those one-liners.
They really are. And so it's no fault of the actors. This is just not their forte.
No, it's their fault too.
And then the cameo of the movie shows up, and I was like, oh, this is why it isn't funny, because Pete Davidson's in it. That guy he's a comedy vacuum.
I felt he was better than all of them combined.
He is a comedy vacuum.
You have to,
if there's anything funny, he sucks it right out of the room.
You have to like his type of comedy.
You must, because I just find him just one of the most unfunniest people I've ever fucking seen perform.
I liked him in this.
No.
I thought the writing was a bit dry for it, but I felt him, like, I've seen him in other stuff. I like his work.
No, I watched him in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I've seen him in...
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
I like
every
stuff that he's in.
time he's been in Saturday Night Live, I'm like... and again, look, I'm fucking ancient, so don't think that I'm saying, you damn kids like stuff that's not funny. I'm watching. I'm like, this is not for me. And I don't get what's funny about this guy. He looks like the best. Listen,
Brush your teeth.
the best description I ever heard of Pete Davidson was he looks like an anorexic werewolf that's in mid-change. And I'm like, my God, that's exactly, because he looks so dour and his eyes are sunken. He's such an ugly man.
The kids like werewolves these days.
Sure. And you know what? Great. You like Pete Davidson? That's great. I think he's terribly unfunny. And I guess the joke was, hey, Tyrese, you got to pay a bunch of money that you don't want to pay. And also, he gives them muffins with drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy muffins.
That was the joke.
Yeah, and when with Tyrese, no, the other one. When Ludacris actually eats one, the payoff was horrible.
Well, he starts like seeing crazy shit. And I was like, oh, cool, this will go somewhere. Nope.
No.
I'm like, oh, okay.
They discovered the black site is in Antarctica and agree to.
Cypher and Letty have a massive fight, right? I said this will be the last time.
Oh,
Cypher and Letty have a massive fight. And oh my goodness, Michelle Rodriguez's wig, whoever's in charge of her wig needs to be fired. Because it was like watching Samurai Cop again. Every fucking scene, it is a different, it's a different wig. Sometimes it's kind of curly and wavy. Other times it's perfectly straight. Other times it's like a beehive. Like it was all over the place.
This connects to another issue for this movie. And that's every time something crazy happened, a fight, a stunt, action scene, whatever, no one's hurt. No one's.
Well, they're superheroes.
No one's bleeding.
Yeah, they're superheroes.
No one's. Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising that they're superheroes at the end of the day.
One of these movies, Vim Fuego, like launched another guy like a missile, and just flew at the guy, and like they broke out the side. They were on like a train or something. I don't know. But he like shot at them like a missile. And I'm like, and how many times has Vim Fuego, like he just lifts up a car with no problem? They're superheroes. So you have to start looking at it like they're superheroes.
Because Tessa and Letty go through glass.
No, it's Cypher and Letty. Cypher is the one she's fighting.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we got that. Cypher and Letty go through glass. Like twice, maybe more. No, nothing. There was another part of the movie where it was like, oh, I just got road rash or something. Nothing.
Nope. That's what I mean. But if you pretend that they're superheroes, it makes a bit more sense. But the wig was out of control. Also, I wrote down, because I'm a pig, and anybody who watches this knows I'm a pig, this girl fight needed more accidental kissing. These are two, one good-looking woman, one woman who, I'm sure she has her fans. She's not for me. But I'd have been all right with some kissing.
I was a fan of hers when she started in Lost.
Nope, there's just, even when you see her in Resident Evil, like 2002.
Her was very attractive. Even now, I would say very attractive.
I'm sure, and there's nothing wrong with her, you know.
As far as her acting, no.
She's just not my type. Charlize Theron, on the other hand, oh my goodness.
In London, the rest of Dom's team discover their bank accounts have been drained. So they use cash hidden by Roman Pierce to consult with Ramsey's associate, Bowie.
Because he just watched Quick Change and he remembered, hey, tape money to yourself.
To acquire supplies. However, Bowie reports their arrival to law enforcement look, they just skipped over it because they didn't care about the scene.
Yeah. Because it's not funny.
To law enforcement for the bounty, leading the team to turn to Deckard Shaw for help, who was in
that's
this
Jason
movie.
Statham.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you didn't remember because he was only there for 2 minutes.
Hands
and Shaw.
Hands and Shaw.
Hands and Shaw.
And Jason Statham don't like each other. They hate each other.
Han
and
because Shaw killed Han. Yeah.
Okay.
But baobviously no one gets hurt.
Right.
So Han survived.
Okay, so that's why those two. Because the whole time they're fighting, they're like, yeah, I'll get you, my croc.
But in the last movie, they had to come to terms with it. But they're still not really at terms with it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember any of the past movies, so I didn't remember that at all.
The team to turn to Deckard Shaw for help. Initially reluctant, Deckard agrees to help them after learning his mother, Queenie, is also a fugitive for helping Dom.
Sure. Also, I have a question. If I understand, so I legit try. I ask the theater to pause the scene.
Okay.
We were on.
And I
tried to.
Very nice that the screening room would do that.
Especially, and I asked them in Spanish because it was a Spanish theater.
I mean, la screening rumeno.
Fast ex pase por favor. If I understand, Jason Momoa stole all of their money to break them up and make them look like bad guys that blew up the Vatican. And also, he's going after the families of anyone who have helped them in the past. Is that right?
No.
Okay. What did I get wrong?
You got the first part right. But I think the cops now are going after everyone who was ever involved with them. Or maybe they both are. Who knows?
I thought Jason Momoa did it because that's why Jason Momoa is like, hey, I know where your son is through the God's eye. I know where everyone is through the God's eye.
But if we skip ahead, they're both the same group.
Okay. So the truly oddest thing about these movies is the Dom story is the most boring part of it. There's no comedy. There's no action. It's supposed to be the dramatic part, the heart of the story, but it's so fucking dumb and nonsensical and uninteresting that you're just waiting for anything else to begin happening to get past it.
But you could say that about any part of this movie.
I don't think so.
Any story. Well, there's no other story.
But the Tyrese and the Funky Bunch, when they're all together, I'm not enjoying it, but at least it's moving at a fast clip.
But explain that story arc. There is none.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost the money.
Yeah.
No, okay. We did the first part of the movie where we were trying to steal something for the government, and it was a trap. And so we lost all our money, and we have to find a way to get money. And then what did they do?
Where's Dom? It's basically, we got to get back to Dom, I think.
And then what did they do?
Got back to Dom.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know. But no, I get what you mean. I find the Vin Fuego parts of this movie the most boring fucking parts. Like, anytime he's on screen, I think it's because it's like the way he talks. I'm just like, my interest is drained. It's like a fucking battery just draining.
And so my question for you, Deckard is on scene.
Who's Deckard?
Deckard Shaw.
Who's Jason Statham.
Statham, yeah. They have to track him down for some reason to get supplies.
Sure.
That's the only reason he's there. He then finds out his mother's gonna get tracked down too, so he leaves, and we don't see him ever again.
I thought they leave altogether.
Where did they go?
To the plane. And that's why they get on the plane.
Oh, that was the reason why they have a plane?
I think so, yeah. I think, I don't know.
And then he goes his own way.
Yep.
But then that's it.
Yep.
So essentially saying, we might have another movie for him where he just tracks down his mom.
No, the next movie, and I'm calling it a spoiler here now, when John Cena dies in that one scene, out of the rubble, he's going to be crawling out of it. Who comes to save him out of it? Jason Statham.
It would be better if it was Han, because he did that same thing.
Han pretended to crash in the plane, though. Remember the plane crashed, and all of them jumped out before it crashed, but the plane crashed, so he can't be there. It's got to be Jason Statham, or it's got to be Jason Statham.
Or no one. There could be 6 other movies. Ames tracks down and arrests Dom, but his team is ambushed by Dante's mercenaries. Ames joins forces with Dom to fight them, but Dante reveals that he has kidnapped Isabel. See how things are just going back and forth, and no one cares.
And one thing I wanted to point out, this is where Vin Fuego's CG muscles, I would strongly recommend going back and just watching this scene, because it is so obvious that, remember, for some reason...
In the car? Or what?
It's in the van, yeah. Okay. So when Vin Fuego realizes that they're going to get hit and the thing is going to roll, he straps himself in and he puts his arms up like this. His fucking biceps are about to the top of his head.
So much CG.
And it must have been because it's 3 other super muscular young guys in the truck with him. And he was like, I got to muscle these guys. It is... it's laughable because it's so obviously not Vifuego. It's so, again, it's just so, it's one of those things that takes you right out of it because it's so off-putting. And you know the reason for it, being a guy, you have to giggle because you know it's male ego. And I was just like, wow.
He can't get over it.
He can't. Yeah.
It's in the contracts.
Yep.
That's how bad it is. It's been in the contract since the whole Rock issue.
Yeah.
Like,
and when he's fighting with Mr. Wrestleman, no, I'm sorry, it's when he's fighting with Jason Momoa later on, the lifts in his shoes are so obvious. Like, holy moly. And I think I put it in like, holy shit, Lift City, man.
He's walking on 2 turtle shells.
He really is. It's nuts.
A sniper of Dante's wounds tests while Dante steals the god's eye and locates Little B in Portugal.
Hey, question. If you were to go inside of a house and then, or sorry, you know what, even better, let's do one better. If you were to go into like a
house?
No, a slide at a water park, wouldn't the god's eye lose you?
I don't know. It's technology.
Okay. Because for me, I was like, oh, the god's eye is going to lose them because they're going into like an underground cave. But then the god's eye knows where they are. I'm like, how? How would it see you under like feet and feet and feet and feet of rock? And it was like, I was legitimately like, wouldn't that be
But doesn't the god's eye use not just like satellite data, but other cameras on phones and triangulates different
sure, maybe, probably.
So it's not just using camera feed. It's using technology that it triangulates with.
Right, but if it's only you and Uncle Muscles, I guess I was just like, but it's also, you know, the same argument of like, hey, you know what?
Facility.
If you're flying down the road, and I'll bring this up later, but there's so many scenes in this movie that could be solved by get out of the car, you know, and they don't. So I get it because it's a race car movie, car go fast. But with the God's Eye, I'm like, why can't you just go to a house or go down a water slide or go to a crowd of people and it would lose you? But whatever.
It's like if a woman in a wheelchair was chasing you and you ran up the stairs.
And you're like, listen, bitch, you can't get up these stairs, can you? Because you're a fucking cripple. That's what Phil told me off the air. He was like, he had this girl in a wheelchair hitting on him, and he was like, you know, I'm gonna fucking like what do you call it when you're?
Well, I throw a wheelchair down her shaft.
What's the word though? I'm gonna like play along, or you know what I'm like? You're trying to give her the impression that you're interested in her.
Why would I say?
What's the word I'm looking for?
Along?
Yeah, it's not play along. I'm trying to figure out like you're. Oh, piss. It's a
I wouldn't
a
piss
term.
on her. I'm not into that.
I'm something her along.
Pushing her?
No.
Because she's in a wheelchair.
But you're basically playing into it. And now I've lost the whole part of my joke because I can't remember what the term is, but it wasn't very funny anyway, so it's all right.
Thanks, Rob.
Also, when Tyrese and Ludacris are on the plane and Tyrese is acting and he says, maybe I'm just not meant to be a leader. And Ludacris says, no, remember the money and you bought it with your money and the things? That's a leader to me, man. And Tyrese says, well, you know what? I think the most important thing for a leader is to say, I'm sorry. And they hug and stuff. And then I wrote in my notes, do you think that the very basic lessons of these stupid movies are like, say sorry, tell your family you love them, in a way of trying to teach like these douchebag 20-somethings who are arrested development of 5 years old to try to teach them basic life lessons? Like, say sorry to people when you do something wrong. See how Tyrese said it to Ludacris? You should do that too.
I think they play these. I think they play these movies at zoos in like the gorilla park, so that they could teach the gorillas how to evolve. At least one.
How to evolve. And then they look at the zookeepers and we're like, that's what we're evolving into? Fuck that.
Who-
And then you see fucking bunch of gorillas tearing around in a racetrack in cars.
Dom. Dom manages
Big
to
silverback gorilla with a bald head.
Dom manages to save Isabel as Dante escapes. Isabel promises Dom to get Tess to a hospital,
Sure.
while Ames agrees to help Dom take Dante down.
Hey, whose heels do you think were higher? Brie Larson's or Vim Fuego's?
Dom's team is also informed and travel to Portugal.
Hey, I got a question. Why
course
was
you do.
Dom's car on the plane?
Why not?
But why? What was the purpose?
There was room.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You know what?
And
the logic's creeping in, and it can't.
Considering all they've done with planes and cars before, why not?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're like, oh, look at this plane. I better
Put a car
fit
in it.
my car in it.
I love that Mr. Russellman says, Vim Fuego says, open the door. And Mr. Russellman says, Dom, you're never going to be able to land. And Vim Fuego says, who said about land? And I'm like, okay, I guess the idea is that he's going to drive. But won't you have to, don't you drive on the land? So your car's got to land to drive. So does Dom not realize that he drives on land? Maybe.
Superhero.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dante manages to escape Little B. Wait, no, that's not what it... Meanwhile, Dante manages to kidnap Little B and orders his mercenaries to stop Dom and Jacob.
I did like that Jacob has like a missile firing car that also has the ability to turn the missiles so they point to the ground so it jumps up in the air. And I did like that John Cena has a scene of Dom. It's time for me to not live in your shadow anymore. I've got to be a man. I love you, Dom. It's time for me to save the family. And John Cena's trying his best to do this heartfelt performance. And then they cut to Vim Fuego, and he just goes, Jacob. He just goes, Jacob. It made me laugh. Because, look, I'm sure Vim Fuego is a fight. Like, we saw him act in Saving Private Ryan. It's really the only movie I've ever seen him in. I know he was in other movies. I don't care. But
that's the only movie he's ever acted in.
He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't give a shit anymore, but it is.
No.
Jacob.
There's no acting anymore. He relies on everyone else to act, and who's doing that? Jacob sacrifices himself in an explosive crash, taking out all of the mercenaries and allowing Dom to rescue his son.
This is when I had my second legitimate laugh out loud moment of the movie. Jason Momoa says, looks like Uncle Muscles won't be coming to the next barbecue. And I was like, Vim Fuego was watching in the editing room. He's watching his scene and John Cena's scene. I need more drama. Got to make sure I look dramatic. Yeah, somebody else take the Jason Momoa scene. I got to make sure this is dramatic. Guaranteed that there's no chance he saw that fucking Jason Momoa line. Because that is they've referenced barbecues 3 fucking times in this movie. Jason Momoa twice and Mr. Russellman once.
I don't think I think the director's smart enough not to show the dailies to him.
I think he knows if it's a daily where he's in it, he'll want to see those ones and he'll want to edit those. He'll want every part of them. But when it's not Dom focused, Vim Fuego doesn't care.
Or you do something smart and you bring him like a bunch of weed to smoke and then you show him. And he's like, yeah, it's all good.
This is awesome, dude.
I can't see it, but yeah. Arriving at a nearby dam, Dante boxes them between 2 drone-operated semi-trailers.
Do douche bros love Dom because he says, I'm very proud of you, son? And that's what they never heard from their own dads?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, why doesn't Dom just not drive away when the trucks are there?
He's between them.
Right. But there's more than enough space on each side.
It's a dam.
There's more than enough space on each side that the fucking dam drives off to.
They'll veer.
Okay.
So,
because I'm looking at all the open space beside each truck, And Dom's like,
So
very proud of you, son. And I'm like,
you're warming my heart. 'Cause
why
I
doesn't
never
he-
heard it either.
I heard, very proud of you, son. Now get me another beer. You didn't have abusive parents, you fucking baby.
I didn't have parents. Test tube baby.
Test tube baby. They really fucked up.
At this
Give
point,
us that fat test tube. It was like a, oh fuck. God damn it. Every joke I come up with, I forget what it's called. Like a fat test tube.
a beaker.
Is it a beaker? Okay, you were a fat beaker baby.
Thank you.
You're not fat anymore.
So when
What the fuck was that look for? It's true, you're not fat anymore. You were fat.
Every time I talk.
You were fat, and now you're not fat anymore.
It's like I'm talking.
Was your hair curly, or did you have straight hair? You know why? The reason I ask is I went to, because my hair is growing longer, and I'm thinking I might just cut it all off. But we go to the Lush place, because I love those little shampoo bars that they have, because and it's great. I love the way it smells, everything about it. And I went in there, and I'm like,
he's lazy.
do you have any conditioner? And she's looking at my hair, and she goes, what do you want to do with your hair? I'm like, I just, like to style it a bit better. She goes, does your hair curl? I go, yes. And she goes, do you want it to curl? I'm like, no. So she gave me this spray stuff that you're supposed to spray into it when it's almost dry and stuff. And then you can, it's not like the wax gel stuff. It's like the spray stuff that you can style a bit better. But what's great about it is it smells like candy. So all day I've been like, what's that smell? And it's my fucking hair. It smells like candy.
Your day has been tainted because you're always hoping for that candy to show up.
But it's also like, and now I'm like, I don't like the way my hair looks when it's long, but I kind of want to keep it because I want that candy smell still in it.
You could just spray yourself with the candy smell.
And it's all like fruits and vegetables and shit that Lush loses. So I can just fucking eat this stuff probably. Or I can just eat real candy. So you never answered. Was your hair curly or not, or straight?
It was like a
Or
thick,
like wavy.
a thick wavy. It was like Don King.
Don King?
I should show you a picture.
Oh, fuck. You're going to have to now if it was like fucking Don King.
Let's pause here.
Here's Phil as Don King.
Oh, you're going to want to see it when you do that.
But no, just put it up there. That will force me to watch this fucking stupid episode on YouTube.
Then how did they get your reaction?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll be over here, and then he'll put it up the exact same time that I look at it here.
I'm just trying to figure out how do I get there.
Aren't you the fucking social media expert?
Albums.
You're acting like me.
Let's go back to Fatville.
This is exciting.
What? They're not seeing this part. There. That's grade 9.
You can definitely see that your son. It's weird when you look
All
at
the
your
views of
kids.
me, like blue hair.
It's weird when you look at your kids and you can see yourself in them, man. It's fucking weird. That's fucking
Didn't
small.
help at all.
But yeah, that's you're right. It's kind of Don Kingish. Well,
It's the best thing.
but he does. You can see your son.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And prepare.
Oh, you know why?
God
The
damn
reason we
it.
were talking about it is because it's family. So your son looks like you, and your son is your family, and it's all about family. Come on, you're almost there. You're at the home
I
stretch.
am almost there. And prepares to crush them.
Who?
You would have known this an hour ago. Prepares to crush them while Ames is revealed to be a double agent.
Holy moly! And
working-
Ames is Mr. Wrestleman.
Yes, we've covered that. Working for Dante and shoots down the plane containing Dom's team.
God, that was so dumb. I like how it doesn't crash. It goes. It does the Indiana Jones thing around the hill and boom, and you're like, oh wow,
That's
I
so
bet.
that you don't see them jumping out.
Yeah, I bet they're dead.
Dom drives off the edge of the dam and down the
But
slope.
hold on, why does he drive off the edge of the dam?
Because the two trucks.
You talked before that there were two trucks, but you didn't say anything about the two trucks fucking ramming into each other.
Landing safely in the water, but Dante reveals the dam is rigged with explosives and sets them off.
So my question is, when Dom was sitting there in the middle, going, "I'm proud of you, son," watching the two trucks.
He was just doing that sound.
Why did he just fucking blow up the bridge?
Dom wouldn't blow up the bridge.
Why didn't Jason Momoa blow up the bridge then?
Because he likes playing with Dom. This is like playtime with Dom.
Oh, okay.
Playtime with Dom.
Like, you know, typical evil bad guy fashion. You know, like in fucking Austin Powers, how he's like, no, I'm going to explain to him how my entire plan works and then put him in a situation he can very easily get away from. That's exactly what this is.
He doesn't want it to end. He wants to go another couple movies. Landing safely in the water, but Dante reveals the dam is rigged with explosives and sets them off. In Antarctica, go back to there, Letty and Cypher escape the black site and trek to the coast where a submarine surfaces and Giselle Yashar, Wonder Woman, who was presumed dead, which this reveal was not nearly enough of a reveal. It was just like, that woman. And it's like...
That's what I wrote down. Glad to see Gal Gadot took time out from her busy DC schedule.
Yeah.
Because, the hat literally pops up, "Hello, I am here." And you're like, okay.
It would have been better
if she was like, the worst is...
it was more like, we need you in for like 5 minutes so you can be in this movie.
Yep.
Just look at the camera in front of this green screen.
We're going to green screen we're going to green screen a submarine behind you. Should I look cold? Should I look hot?
It doesn't matter. It totally could have been in anything.
What do you think? So, bridge explodes. It's a dam. Dom is like, "Proud of you, son," and then water. So what do you think is going to happen in that scene? I hope.
That's
where it ends, because the next one, whatever.
There is no next one. We're done.
Yeah. Oh, it's how it ends. Thankfully, Dom is dead. But I'm hoping that around the corner, the submarine comes, and the submarine turns to be in front of the water before it hits into fucking Dom.
It opens the back, and he goes...
And then they jump into the submarine.
No, I think the car is going to... Because the car goes into the water, right? You see it go splash in. Yep. What if it cut away, but the car goes and floats into the submarine's back end, and the submarine closes... and then goes off.
But Dom and little Dom got out of the. They got out of the car.
That's unfortunate.
So that's what I'm thinking. The submarine will come around and the water wave will hit it and push it over, and they'll open up the top of the submarine, and then Dom and his kid will jump and they'll like go right through that little hole in the submarine.
Or where the river meets the ocean, they'll retrieve the dead bodies because no one dies, and they'll be like. At the starting of the next movie.
Holy fuck. Dom and little Dom see all the water coming. They run back to the car, get in the car, right?
What car?
Their car.
The car that...
Yeah, that they got out of for some reason. I don't know why. But the car is like a fucking surfboard on all the water that's coming down. That's when the submarine comes up where the water meets the ocean.
From LA type thing.
Yep,
It rides the
exactly. And then the car goes right off the top of the wave and lands on top of the submarine. That's got to be it. Yeah, we should be Fast X writers, man.
It'd be perfect. In a mid-credit scene, as we get into our third hour of this show.
Now, how many weeks before...
Don't get there.
How many weeks
don't get there.
Before the release date do you think this was shot? I'm saying 3 weeks.
Well, this was definitely one of those things where it's like...
last minute of the last minute.
I feel that this person was written into this movie originally before then. I think Muscles...
you think, eh?
I do. I think it was going to be this man and...
this myth.
And Brie Larson in that situation. Because they're separated. They don't have to shoot
Yep. Oh,
with Dom Tortellini.
that's a
It's
good point.
perfect. But they had this big issue while or close to.
During. Yep,
And yeah, it led to being out and then now coming back in.
I can only
Because
imagine how excited you were to see this scene. You must have been fucking bouncing on your chair like a 5-year-old in a candy store.
The reason why I was not is because it was a stupid scene. It wasn't good.
No,
So-
because it was filmed in someone's basement with one light.
It was a quick shot. Yeah. It was the same. It looked like the same place. Oh, what is it? Was it last movie or the movie before that with Mr. Nobody and the group when
oh
they
yeah,
were
when
going
they get all their
underground?
Coronas and shit.
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
bu-
yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
That same place.
Now, what I like too is they show this actor come in and they're looking around and guns and stuff, and it is very clearly not that actor because this actor is a hulk of a human being, and it's like regular size guy, 9-foot person, and I'm like, yeah, I think that might have been a stand-in before.
No, but everything was covered, so you couldn't tell.
Everything.
It was all camo, so we thought it was John
Oh
Cena.
no, it was black. That was all black.
Thought it was all like dark camo, like
Oh,
a brown.
could be. I
camo.
thought it was all black. The one thing I noticed is like that's not that actor. That's that actor, because it goes from shoulders of a human being, shoulders of this person. You're like, yep, that's that person now.
Yeah. So the person is
Wait, Luke
yes.
Hobbs.
There you go.
Yay!
And that person is
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
yeah. So they did. So all that scene was these army dudes coming, or some kind of black ops group,
Sure.
coming into this area where they think they're going to nab someone, and it's like a trap-ish type deal.
Because that's what Jason Momoa does.
yes, and so what happened? I don't even
He
remember.
calls him on the phone. He says, hey, I'm going to come after you because you're friends with Dom Tortellini. So, you better watch out, bitch. I'm coming. Or no, watch out. I'm coming for you. And then The Rock is on the phone. And remember what The Rock says?
I'll be back.
Nope. He says, come get me, you some bitch. And then crushes the fucking phone. I guess some bitch was his.
It was just stupid.
But
He used to do that in wrestling.
yeah, that's what I say. Was that? I wonder if that was. I know he said.
I'm surprised he didn't
I know
go,
he said.
Rudy Poo, candy ass.
But I know he said son of a bitch. But did he say did it get like shortened to some bitch?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's something he still did back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so
It was a lukewarm scene to me. But
And-
I knew it was coming. I was hoping it was coming.
so you and I had this conversation before that you thought The Rock was going to show up. I did not think The Rock was going to show up. And then after Black Adam, my opinion changed, and I was like, with the bomb of Black Adam and with how he's starting to get a lot of bad press, I think he might show up because he needs a vehicle that he's known in.
This is how like what we were just talking about
Yep.
in terms of like, okay, he was out because he's doing like all the stuff,
Yep.
and he thinks like, oh, I don't need this, and now he's
Got to go back. Yep, he's got to
needs
go
it.
back to what works. Now,
gave in.
between this one and the next one, if he can get a vehicle that works, if he can get a new vehicle,
like a Dodge Charger.
yep, exactly. So if he can get his own Dodge Charger that works, then he's not going to show up in the next one, or it's going to be 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be another argument.
But if this Moana live action reboot fails, like most people are saying it's going to, and if he can't get a vehicle that works, that's successful, he'll be a big part of the next one.
The thing that you need to think about is they're probably shooting the next one already.
It
was
doesn't matter.
probably done while they were shooting this one.
Tell me any actor in this movie that they could have green screened out. They could have done like,
I know,
what was
I
that
know.
stupid movie called? Army of the Dead? Dead Army?
Yeah. I know what you mean. The Netflix
That
one.
they could just pull a person out, green screen a different person. Every character,
Which
except
I
Dom
feel like
Perlini
they
is
did with
that.
Muscles.
Yep.
Like if we were to really analyze this movie later on and go, Mr. Muscles, each scene, I bet you could easily just green screen The Rock in
Yep.
there and like back
And I feel like that's what they'll do. They'll make sure that every shot with The Rock, that he's far enough away from someone that if they had to drop in another person, they drop in the other person.
I think at this point they're doing that with everybody.
Yep.
So
also,
if anyone's a problem,
one question I had when I was watching it is, and maybe I'm wrong, Fast and Furious fans know way more than I do clearly about this, is the idea that Brian is just sitting at home looking after his kid this whole time. Like he has nothing to do with any of it. He's not like on the background on the computer or something.
Brian's
He's just
dead, isn't he?
No, he's a father now, so he's basically dead. But
Who's Brian?
That's Paul Walker.
He's dead.
Not in the movie, he's not. In the movie, no, he's not. That's why Jordana Brewster, when John Cena shows up, he says, I'm going to take Brian, little Brian. And she goes, okay.
Little Brian.
No, she says one line. It's the only time he's ever mentioned in the whole movie. She goes, I've got to get back and tell Brian. That's the one time they bring him up. So he's still supposed to be alive.
Oh, it's a fourth wall thing.
No, it's fucking not.
I mean, every glimmer of Brian's dead in real life, because they did like that Long Road song. Like
yeah,
and obvious, and he's like mourning his friend, but like.
Yeah, but he became a father.
But he's not dead.
And he's out of the race game to be a father, which is basically like being dead.
On his brother or something, right?
So,
I get
but
it.
is the idea that he's just never, he's not part of the group anymore because he's a dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though Dom is allowed to be still the group, he's a dad? Okay. Whatever.
It's their choice.
Also, apparently Paul Walker's...
And he wasn't forced. Remember, Dom's trying to get out.
Sure.
He's trying not to do as much. He was giving the other job to Roman.
Right. Also, apparently, Paul Walker's daughter had a cameo in this movie.
Yes.
And I was going to say a very mean joke about it.
Who it was? Like where it was?
No. I was going to say a very mean joke that she looks just like her dad, but only if she had like a whole bunch of like gravel and pavement across her face and maybe some paint.
What if it was the sister of...
No, it was a small role.
Oh, okay.
But then I was like...
It's the girl that drops the flag.
It might have been. I have no idea.
It's like a background actor.
My point is,
scene where
I've made so many jokes about Paul Walker being splatted all over a road that it's just not funny to me anymore.
Okay, so this 3-hour episode has been brought to you by the letter
Fast. X. Letter X.
I was going to say F for fuck.
So, you know what? You're a big fan of these stupid movies.
No.
You are a fan of these movies.
No.
Yes, you fucking are.
I just love how mad you get. Like,
are you disappointed that I didn't get as... Did you think I was going to get madder?
I wish I would have been in the theater with you, but my wife loves to go to these ones.
Your wife could have been in the middle of us.
No, I've told you many times we're not doing that. No,
Fast and Furious.
This...
X.
So, this is hard because this movie it's not mind-numbingly dumb, and a lot of it didn't make sense, like you've said.
Yep.
It's going to continue the way it is.
Yep.
And probably get worse.
Yep. Oh, hell yes.
One of the things that I follow is I've told you, a group called Kinda Funny.
Okay.
And they did a review of this, and one of them is like really big into Fast and Furious franchise, really loves this stuff. And when he saw the 2 semi-trucks on the bridge, one of them looked like Optimus Prime's semi-truck, and he was like, holy shit, could this happen?
They've already said that they are in the same universe.
That's where he was going with this. Like, what if this was their like bridge into it's a dam. But anyway, what if that was like, wouldn't that be cool though?
Yep.
Like, you went into space
and
go the next thing.
Yep.
Where's the dinosaurs?
I thought the last few movies we've watched, I hate them because they're just... I can turn off logic and this is how I've progressed as a Fast and the Furious viewer. I've been able to turn off logic so far, I'd say within the last 2, where them going into space, I'm like, this is just stupid. but none of the other movies have had an actor that I feel knew the type of movie they were in, like Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa, I feel, does not need to be the buff fucking, I'm the fucking suit. Like, he's not The Rock. He's not Vin Diesel. He doesn't have that ego. You know, I feel like it's not there in him.
He's the saving grace of this movie. You are correct.
But every time he's on screen, he absolutely steals the fucking show because he's not a bro douchebag that everybody in these movies has been.
The funny thing is, every single other person there's no one who's a saving grace.
Nope. And
John Cena to a little bit.
But they're all bro douchebags. John Cena is the comic relief, so he's not supposed to be a bro douchebag, at least not as bad as one.
Which is funny because last year he was serious.
In the last Fast X movie? Okay,
Fast
whatever.
9.
Sure.
F9.
But refresh. But yeah, Jason Momoa, where all the guys are dead, he's got his hair up in little pigtails and he's doing his nails. I fucking loved it.
Just delete everything and give us a Mimosa movie like this.
Yeah, because he was great. And I get he's a crazy one. But sure, he's crazy, but it's funny how he doesn't, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe Jason Momoa is the biggest douchebag in the face of the planet. But Vin Diesel, you can tell I've got to look as tall as they are. I've got to, no one can beat me in a fight. I've always got to be the toughest one. Uh-huh. I don't get that vibe from Momoa at all. Momoa's like, what, I'm supposed to be in a dress? Sure, I don't give a fuck. I'm getting paid. I don't give a fuck.
And they were never like in the same room together.
No,
this whole movie.
They have a fight at the end. But that's where you can see the lifts. Remember when Creepy Eyes Brie Larson gets shot? He's fighting with Jason Momoa.
On the bridge.
Yes. But it's not when the trucks are there.
They're shooting.
Yeah.
No, he calls the shot.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
And
I'm sure that him and Jason Momoa are fighting each other. I am sure they are.
Only time
That's where I saw his fucking 4-inch lifts.
No, the only time they seemingly are in the same.
Phil's gonna put a picture right here so I can prove you fucking wrong. That there's Jason Momoa and what's his name? Vin Fuego
the only
fighting.
time they're seemingly in the same area together is that before that race.
All right, where he's dressed like a genie.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a back and forth shot scene where they could just be separated.
AB cam, yeah.
And we said that about the trailer, that it would just seem green screeny and same thing in the movie.
No, I was sure they thought, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
because he was calling the shots and saying to shoot.
Okay. Jason Momoa was the only, and here's the reason that I didn't fucking hate everything about this movie. The scenes he was in genuinely made me giggle.
Yeah, I think they're probably just going to fight in the next one.
Probably.
Because they didn't come. No, they didn't. The only time they were together was during that, right before that race thing. Which is weird.
Vin Fuego is going to fight both The Rock and Jason Momoa at the same time and just destroy them both.
I think it's going to come down to a buddy cop movie type situation where they both have to work together, and that's going to bring in the ultimate money.
Maybe.
After all this fight stuff.
But again, only if the next vehicle for The Rock doesn't work. If the next
vehicle didn't.
No, there might be one in between Fast X and Fast X1.
But I don't think the live action whatever
Moana,
I don't think that's coming out anytime
There might be something
soon.
Else though. That's what I mean. He might find a vehicle that works, and if he can find a vehicle that works, then he won't be big in the next movie.
I think this is his vehicle because the next one comes out in a year.
I don't have a
probably.
Clue. No idea.
I think it's been shot together. I think they were like, let's jump into it since
you know what's going to happen
in this.
There's going to be so many scenes where it's like, quick, you've got to rescue me, The Rock. You have got to grab onto me. Make sure that you look out for it, The Rock. He's right there.
That's exactly what it's going to be. It's just going to be back and forth shots, or they're just going to what's the word like fuck it and be like Hobbs and Shaw 2.
Yeah,
and we're just going to be like, fuck, okay, fine, whatever.
I have zero interest in ever. I don't care to ever see how this ends. But if you want me to go see the next one, sure, I'll go see it.
If Mimosa's in it?
Yeah, if Jason Momoa's in it, you know what? Jason Momoa's in it, I'm there. If he's in it for like the first 5 minutes and gets killed, I'm going to be like, ah. And then I cannot promise how much attention I'll pay to the rest of it.
I absolutely hated being in the theater for this movie. Just want to mention that.
Oh,
I was sitting
it
there
packed?
going, no.
No.
And I was sitting there just, I didn't go to IMAX because I like the recliners. I say that every time. Our IMAX doesn't have reclining seats. So
Bullshit.
fuck them. I was just very disappointed throughout this movie. I'm bored. I was just like, why isn't it ending? It's a 2-parter, if not 3-parter.
Yeah.
Why is it so long? So yeah, I did not like this movie. What would you rate it?
Out of the Fast and Furious franchise,
No, we can't do that.
I
We
would
can't
give
do
this.
that. No.
All right, if just a movie, I'll never watch this movie again.
In terms of enjoyment,
In terms of enjoyment,
not whether you think this is a good movie, period.
yeah, it's not a good movie. But in terms of enjoyment, I giggled, I think, twice. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
It was all mimosa.
Yeah. If you take Jason Momoa out of this movie, most of the action is very well directed.
Yes.
I knew who was in what car. I knew which car was what.
This is what I'm telling you about what was wrong with the other movies we've talked about recently, where you can't keep a track.
Yep.
And in this one, you can.
Yeah, it was very clear.
Fight scenes, stunts, action, all you could keep track of.
Yep.
The lines you couldn't keep track of. The story you couldn't keep track of.
But
Freaky Friday didn't happen.
Without Jason Momoa, it'd be a 2.5, 3 out
It
of
would
10.
yeah.
But with Mimosa, it's a solid 4 out of 10 for me. We should put like Jeopardy music
3
or
out of
like
10.
burning.
Usually I would mark it higher.
What would you?
I hated this
what?
movie.
I can't.
Disliked
I was
it.
gonna say, what's your favorite one? I would never be able to say what my favorite one is. I don't
Race
remember any
Wars.
of them. Which one was Race Wars? The
second one?
Not a clue.
I want to say the second one.
I couldn't even tell you their names.
No,
There's
the second,
Fast and the Furious.
Tokyo Drift's the second one, isn't
Too
it?
Fast, Too Furious. And then number 3 is Tokyo Drift. And number 4 is Fast 4. No. I'm sure.
F4.
Is it F4?
I don't know.
And then number 5 is Fast 5.
Yeah.
And then number 6, they went back to the name Fast and the Furious.
Maybe Fast 4 was 4.
Fast for Furious.
4 Furious.
4.
No, 4.
I don't know. Anyways, we're sorry that you've been watching Complain, especially this fucking episode. We're sorry it took so long too. The
Maybe
phone
we
kept on
should
fucking
take
up.
this episode and split it up into 3 parts.
Well, and green screen in somebody right in the middle that's like looking at both of us.
It's like the phone wanted us to do that.
Yeah, Phil's phone is junk, so it broke.
It's only the iPhone
3 times.
13.
And so that's why we look all different between them. But yeah,
It overheated.
we're sorry you've been watching Complain. Please follow us on all of our social media, like YouTube and Instagram. Are we on Instagram? Instagram and
I don't know why.
something else. Instagram is a good medium.
I don't know why we still do the show. Honestly,
I think we're on.
200 episodes now.
We have like 4 subscribers.
I've lost.
But you know what? It is
Hair.
funny. I do like the shorts. You have to do more of the shorts because the shorts are fun because there's like 8. Yeah, exactly. Like 900 views on those.
Sometimes, yeah, it could be more.
They make me
If
laugh.
I talk about racist stuff, sure.
Well, because you're a racist. Anyways, we're sorry you've been watching this racist and my sick ass on watching a plane. Now zoom us out.